Okay, tornadoes, thunderstorms, ice storms, the chemical leak, we shelter in place in our home. Again, another thing that has come out really big since September the 11th is disaster kits. And we have on the table before us a lot of things that would go into a disaster kit. Just take some time out there and go through there and tell folks what are some good items to have in a disaster kit.
This is not, and you mentioned a lot of different instances where this would be used. This is not an ice storm kit, and a different one would be a tornado kit, and a different one would be a thunderstorm kit. This pretty much is an all-hazard type emergency kit. And you have to think about being self-sufficient for the first few hours. Here is a tarp and some duct tape. It could be plastic, where you could shelter in place. If a tornado hits and knocks out some of your windows, you could take the tarps and cover yourself up. You can build some temporary shelters. You can do a lot with tarps and plastic. Good old duct tape. If you're sheltering in place in that chemical instance I talked about a little bit ago, you can tape your doors and windows up, or do some minor repairs. Sanitation kind of comes into play the next little area here in our kit. We have trash bags. You always have to have trash bags to take care of things. Some handy wipes here to wipe your hands and keep yourself clean. Waterless sanitation. If it's severe enough and the power's off, you may be out of water if you're on wells, etc. Matches. We hope you don't need matches, but you may need matches to start a fire outside. Pliers and things to take care of turning off your utilities, but if you can turn them off before we arrive. This is just a waterproof box to put the matches in. I didn't put that together in my kit. A whistle. You can buy these for $1 or so at the big box stores. If you're in your basement and some trees or things have fallen across the door, if you hear people outside, blow that whistle to let them know you're inside. It's just a way of alerting people. Flashlights, of course, never fails. The severe weather seems to hit in the evening or at night, so flashlights to see when the power goes off.
And I'm glad you have flashlights versus candles.
No candles. Got to be flashlights. They're much more safe. And then, think about, well, I may need to be there for a day or so. So think about some food, and we brought a couple of different ideas for you. Heater meals are basically like MREs if people were in the military, meals ready to eat. They're fully self-sufficient. Everything is in there for that meal. A way to heat it, a way to eat it, a well-balanced meal with the dessert. You can have soup, not very good cold, but it will still suffice. Power bars, you may need some energy bars like these breakfast bars. While these are adults, don't forget about your small babies. Put some baby food in your kit, and we always have to think about our pets, so think about some pet food in your kits. You always have to have a way to eat those, so paper plates and plastic plates that are disposable, not have to worry about cleaning those up. Think about medications. Have some extra medications down there. Just pay attention that you don't let them get out of date. Don't put this in your kit, and then 6 years from now when you need it, this medication would be out of date.
That's what I was fixing to say. So this is not something that you just throw together, you put in a backpack and you forget about it. Every time Severe Weather Awareness Month comes around, or even before then, you really need to get these things out and look at the expiration dates on them.
Absolutely, and technology is great nowadays. Out of all this, I would think medication probably would be the first thing that would expire, possibly this food. Put that on your calendar to go down every 6 months or once a year. Take this out and use it and put fresh in. Just kind of rotate that stock so that you have fresh supplies. A couple of other things that we have on the table here. Some wraps to keep people warm. If it's severe weather like wintertime and the power goes off, you can stay warm for a little bit. A battery-powered AM/FM small radio here. Most of the radio stations are still on the air. This would continue to get those alerts along with your weather radio. Drinking water.
Very important.
Very important. We can go much longer without food than we can without water. So drinking water is very important, and The minimum that we recommend is 3 gallons per person per day.
So again, you have to think about the size of your family.
Right. This is a very small kit, and it could be depending on the length of time that you're planning for. In the area that we are, hurricanes are not going to come in. Tornadoes would probably be the longest that anyone would have to be self-sufficient, and where we are, I would say at least 24 hours, 12 to 24 hours.
Other than the kit and all the things we talked about, there's one more thing I wanted to touch on. There is a program that we provide that I want the citizens to know about, as far as learning about this disaster kit and learning about taking care of themselves, and that is our CERT program and what CERT stands for.
Citizens Emergency Response Team, CERT, is a great program that was basically funded and thought of after September 11th by President Bush, or former President Bush now, basically meaning to volunteer taking care of yourself and your neighbors. And that's where the ideas for all these kits came from. CERT we teach through the emergency management portion of our department, and it's a 10 or 11 week program, 2 hours a week. Basically gives you a very broad overview of self-sufficiency and how to take care of yourself and your neighbor. Very good program. I've done one of them. William Wright, our coordinator, has taught the rest of those. We have about 140 people now who's been trained in CERT, located throughout the county, and those people are very active. The premise behind CERT is you learn to take care of yourself, you have your own disaster kit, but you also share that with your neighbors. So if you live in a subdivision, you could be sort of the fire marshal or the emergency management person for your area, basically helping take care of your neighbors. We issue some tools and some identification, a green vest with a hard hat. So if we respond to areas that the power's out by an ice storm, a tornado, a thunderstorm, and we see that person, that's who we're going to first. Hopefully they've taken care of themselves and their neighbors, and we can look at one person instead of having to go to each home.
They can report to us and tell us
Absolutely.
what's going on in that neighborhood.
Sure.
To learn more about the CERT program, you can call William Wright at 770-531-6838.
One other thing I do want to talk about, and you mentioned the phone number. This is available. The instructions on this kit, the instructions about CERT, you can go to hallcounty.org/ready to be ready. So we hope that everyone will visit that and apply for the CERT program. Be glad to teach it wherever.
We have covered a lot of ground today. I'd like to thank my guests, Fire Chief David Kimbrell and Beverly Walker, for joining me, and thank you for watching Hall County Connection. If you want more information or have any questions about the topics we've discussed today, please call me at 770-531-6838, or you can email me at skagle@hallcounty.org. And as always, log on to the county's website at hallcounty.org. For TV 18 and the Hall County Connection, I'm Scott Cagle.
You're watching TV 18, the government channel for Gainesville and Hall County.